something years ago.
Welcome to the second in our video series on the Rias, or the rivers, in the Galacia region of northwestern Spain. Our previous episode covered an overview of the Rias, the lower and upper Rias. Then we dove into the southernmost Ria, Ria Vigo, including the great town on the southern entrance to the Ria, which is Bayona. We immensely enjoyed the islands that are part of the national park on the border of Ria Vigo and the Atlantic Ocean, the Sias Islands. This episode covers Ria Pontevedra, from the town of Combarra deep inside the Ria to the slightly offshore island of Ons, which also happens to be a national park. Let's head in.
Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Karen.
Welcome to Life 4.0, where we share our adventures of life on board our sailboat as we explore this amazing planet, one anchorage at a time.
This summer, we're crossing much of the Mediterranean, from Greece to Italy, Malta, Spain, including passing out through the Gibraltar Strait, then along the Portuguese coast before we finish in the Galacia area of northwest Spain.
We spend at least half of the year sailing, and the remainder enjoying the beautiful New England region of the United States. Sitting out here in this point of land, looking out onto the island Ons, and over there in the distance is the Sias. Just a tremendous day. A little bit of a breeze, not too much. We found this beautiful park on this point of land. And they're doing some sailboat races here in the distance. Over there next to Ons, there's a racing class there, and another one further upwind. So, extremely beautiful day today. We're so fortunate to be here, enjoying this with our friends Eric and Rhonda. Fun to discover places together. Sometimes we try to head out to places and see them before we have friends come on board, so we know where to take them and know that things will work out okay. And other times like this, we discover something new together, which is also fun. Back behind us there is the entrance to the Ria Pontevedra. Just came in through here a couple hours ago. We're going all the way up into the head of the Ria here, around this little island, which is a military zone, I guess you could say. You can anchor around it, but you're not allowed to go on the island. And a pretty industrial town here, what's called Marin. And I'm thinking they are bringing in towers for wind turbines over there on the dock. We are going to go around the corner here to Cambarro, a little town that apparently has quite a bit of charm, an old fishing village. Going to anchor off of that. We're motor sailing right now. We had a good sail earlier today. Not terribly fast, but good in the sense that we were actually able to sail. And we're all happy because we were supposed to be a forecast of all rain today. Every hour of the day was supposed to be rain, and we've had no rain, lots of sunshine. And it's a big difference between having a day of sunshine and a day of rain. Laden workboat coming in. It could be from one of these mussel farms. They've got a lot of catch on board, whatever they've caught. You see quite a bit of these workboats with a crane. I'm assuming they're here for all the mussel farms, pulling harvested mussels onto their boat. And this is the town of Cambarro, which we're going to go into after we get anchored. Check that out.
We wanted to stretch our legs, and a hilltop monastery was just the goal we needed. As with most monasteries, the grounds were lovely.
Those cold nights in December, and the sound of the falling snow, the fireplace warming us, the VHS movie box, your old broke down touring bus, and not a single cloud in the sky. If I could go back in time, I'd pack my bags right now. If I could play back, rewind, I wouldn't think twice. A pair of jeans and a dusty shirt, we didn't have a dime. No, you and me were poor as dirt, all we had was time.
Back in the town of Combarra, it was time to figure out what these graineries, like this one here, or Horeos, as the Galicians call them, were all about. Here's what we learned. Agriculture has been a significant part of everyday life in much of northwest Spain over the last several centuries, and especially in the flatter coastal areas, which are very fertile, receive lots of rain, and enjoy moderate temperatures. Properly storing produce, especially grain, is a critically important aspect of the agricultural economy. The grains have to be kept dry and inaccessible to wildlife, especially rodents. These graineries met the requirements and were extensively used all throughout this area, and also in Portugal. They are elevated off the ground, both to prevent access to rodents and to keep the grain off the moist and flood-prone ground. The slots in the walls allow airflow to continue to dry the crops. Today, these preserved Horeos are used for a great variety of purposes, as you can see. There's just something about these graineries that I love. My grandparents had a farm, and I spent afternoons and weekends there as a young girl. I helped bale hay, feed the pigs, tend my grandpa's amazing produce garden, and spent hours in the kitchen as my grandmother's sidekick when she canned just about everything they grew. Being close to the source of food creation, preservation, and storage takes you back to a simpler time, and I get a warmness in my heart when reminded of this with these restored graineries. If you get to visit Galacia, visit Combarra, a town with a great mix of agricultural and fishing traditions. So we just noticed this rut in this rock that would start, building up over time when something would come down through here, and then water and everything else would erode it. It's just fascinating. These buildings are so old here. There's a fountain in the center of here. Cute little village. Very cute village. Cambarro. Oh, look at the door.
Yeah.
That's shorter than me. Oh, look, and this place is really cool.
Yeah.
Huh. This is the northern end of the island of Ons. It is part of a national park system that's off the coast of Spain. This one is guarding the entrance to Ria Pontevedra, and it seems really neat. Hopefully we'll get to go to shore. I don't know if we're going to go this time or we're going to come back with some friends, Rhonda and Eric, when they're on board. But it looks almost as though, there's a fair number of people that live here, which is pretty interesting. I know there's a restaurant and a little village, but it's got to be interesting to maintain a national park while also having residents. So this is the Ria Pontevedra, pretty much starting over here and heading in that way. We're going to be over here more in a couple days. We're going to pick Rhonda and Eric up over in Rio de Vigo, which is back over that way.
Hey, do you remember sneaking out in the night? Me playing the fender and you singing, oh, it's alright.
We are at the national park known as Ons, O-N-S. And this is a cool sign. We just dinghied down to the dock. Our dinghy's hanging out over there. That's a ferry boat that takes people to and from the mainland. Our Sea Rose is anchored around the corner up there. There's these mooring balls that you can supposedly use, but they're so close together, and the fact that they drag to be close together makes us a little nervous about using them. So we just anchored up off a beach. Yeah, this is really pretty. We zigzag up the hillside in search of the lighthouse. Found it!
I wouldn't think twice. A pair of jeans and a dusty shirt. We didn't have a dime. No, you and me were poor as dirt. All we had was time.
So we woke up this morning and there are just tons of fishing boats all through here, and they all have a little compressor on board, a generator and a compressor, and a lot of them are diving. So a lot of the guys are in wetsuits and they're diving overboard and getting something, not really sure what, and then there's this boat up here that I'm not really sure what they're doing. So maybe it's like a mother boat, and they're getting something, and then there's some flags out here. So I mean, last night there was not a boat out here, and you know, clearly we're not going to be able to leave until most of these boats are up and out, because they're right on our anchor. But it's also sort of fascinating. We don't really know what they're fishing, and it just seems like they descended into this area. Maybe they're all part of a group and they're bringing all their fish back to this sort of mothership over here. But hard to tell. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified of new videos. Join us next time for the third video in our series on the Rias, where we visit both Ria de Arusa and Ria Moros, the final two of the lower Rias, or the Rias Baixos. Thanks for watching.
I'd pack my bags right now if I could play back real wild.